it's Misty here, design team member for Stamp Anything. Thank you so much for joining me. In today's video, I have another Fannie Friday. We're going to be using the Peace, Love, and Pride bundle. So last week, I had run some ideas by Kevin. I was like, I think I want to do like a getaway proposal, like engagement card. And then I want to do like something with the cruise ship or something with water, etc. So what I've created for you today is either a photo opportunity on a cruise or somewhere in an aquarium, etc. I'm combining Kevin from the May release, the mermaid release, with the two images from the Peace, Love, and Pride bundle, and I really love how this card turned out. So I'm going to share with you how I colored 3 images, then we're going to make a shaker card using leftover diamonds from diamond painting. So if you're interested, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. If you're interested in any of these stamps, check out the links in the description box down below. You can still get your hands on the June release, sign up for Stamp Club, you can sign up for Stencil Club, you can find the Facebook group. All of the information that you've ever wanted in your entire life is in the description box down below. This is also part of our Equality for All Makers collaboration. So my friend Michael Trent and I have been making Pride themed cards every Friday since like 1st of May, mid-May. And this is a part of that collaboration. So yeah, all right, that's enough jibber jabber. Let's head over to the craft table and we'll get started. So meet Phoebe and Annie. So Annie is the character that we were starting with, and for her skin, we are using E39, 15, 13, and then R22. I'm going to have all of the supplies linked down below per usual. So you guys know by now I like to start darkest to lightest. And since Phoebe is a little in front of her, we're going to color that spot right there behind her head a little bit deeper than I normally would to give it a bit more shadow. So I gave these characters names just so it'd be easier to talk about them. They don't have names. This is the Peace, Love, Pride bundle. If you've missed it, there's only a few left. And I don't know if this is going to be restocked because Anne had mentioned at the beginning of the year that grab and go boxes and bundles would be a one run only. So yeah, don't miss out on it because it's fan-flippin-tastic. You'll see one more card for me next week using this bundle for the end of Pride Month. But you will also see me make these types of cards throughout the year because we may celebrate in June, but I'm an ally 365. So is Stamp Anything. Okay, so the hair, the hair. I used E49, 79, 29, 19, 17, 8, 9, 99, 97, 95. I believe that's 10 colors. So my favorite technique as a way to do curly hair is to just dot in a bunch of different colors. And I got the idea after adding this color or a different one. I was like, you know what? I want her to be a redhead. So that's kind of what I did. And so she's Annie because she has curly hair. That's red. And Annie from Annie, the musical, had red hair. And I will save you from me busting out The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow. You're very welcome. So do you necessarily need to use this many colors for her hair? No. Did I do it? Yes. And I just really love the dimensional look of it. When you see the photos at the end, you can really see just how much dimension there is in this hairstyle. So I really, really like it. I almost brought out a couple of colored pencils to go over it, and I meant to do that, and it just completely slipped my mind. So I didn't, but I really kind of like it without. So yeah, I got to this point. I was like, you know what? I want a bit more red. So I pulled out the hex chart and found a color that I could use that would be a really pretty kind of light background color to blend some of these colors together, but to also kind of be the all over color. And I really, really love how that turned out. And then I brought back in a few of the darker markers to add that texture back in. This is just a technique I absolutely love, and you'll have to let me know if you try it and what you think of it. So once we do that, we're going to move on to Phoebe, and I'm going to end up coloring Phoebe's hair first, which is not normally how I do it, but we are. So I'm actually using the same color combo for her that we used for Riley in the last video, and this is courtesy of Betty. And I will have it. It's E59, 57, 34, and 53. I think this just makes a beautiful kind of blonde. And for this one, it's a bit more brunette, and I let the blonde be the highlights. Once again, we have a character that looks like she has a shaved head. So I will be coloring that a little bit different. But yeah, I absolutely love this character, and I love this hairstyle. And the reason why I called her Phoebe is because she reminds me of Phoebe from Friends. Although Phoebe didn't have shaved hair, but she had blonde hair and she wore it in different styles. So yeah. So Phoebe and Annie, when I saw this, like when I kind of started getting the idea for this card, as I mentioned in the beginning, I saw them like on a cruise. And so I played around with that layout where Kevin was like in the water and they were on the cruise ship. And I was like, I don't really love that. And then I was like, let's just have this be a photo op. So there are aquariums now that employ mer people. So mermaids, mermen in the water, and they take they're in the water in the aquarium, and it's a really cool experience. I've never got to see it in person, but I have seen it online, and that's kind of where I ran with it. So if you're wondering, I mention all the time that I never sit down and I never do a sample. I just have an idea that pops in my brain. I'm like, okay, let's see if we can get this out of my head. In fact, Rob came in and brought me a snack when I was doing this, and he said, how's it going? I'm like, well, as long as I can get this out of my head and onto paper, it'll be fine. And it turned out really well. I really enjoyed it. So her hair was so fun to color, and this may be the most favorite hair I've colored ever. Like, both of their hairs are hairstyles are so much fun, and I really love the two of them together. I think they turned out fantastically. So for the skin, I'm coloring it the E33, 21, 30, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 color combination that I've been enjoying lately. I have, again, all the markers are listed down below, and I have them listed out by parts of their body. So yeah, I don't know. This whole bundle has been really fun, and I already have the idea for the third card. So I hope you'll tune in next Friday for that one. But I can't wait to get more use out of this. As I mentioned before, I will say there's been more companies this last month that have been releasing Pride stuff. It's a little too late. They need to come out with it a little bit earlier in the month. But at least we're heading in the right direction. So as I mentioned, the Makers Collab will continue. You're free to join us. We just did Pride for June because June is Pride Month. But going forward, any kind of diversity will work, whether you're talking about, people with disabilities or, different skin tones, different races, ethnicities, religions, etc. I hope to continue highlighting that as we move forward through the year. And just on from now. Oh, my husband is on a phone call. I hope you can't hear him. He can be a little loud. So I realized when I was coloring her hair, I mistook her hair, like her arm for hair. So her arms are a little darker than her face, but I'm just chalking it up that she's got a little bit more sun on her arms and her legs, and she's been very diligent about sunscreen on her face. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it. And here you can see I'm just bringing in that brush pen to add a bit more black. And then I have these glitter gel pens, and I only have the 2. I need to buy some more. And I gave her a little bit of glitter eyeshadow. So for her dress, I love this pink combination. If you want something bright, fun, and magenta, this is RV090604. Such a fun color combination, bright, vibrant, and really such a different from Riley's shirt where we used a more softer pink, but so much fun. So I'm adding the darkest where the ruffles are, like where the fold in the ruffles, on the inside of the dress, and then at the very bottom, and then we're going to go work our way up to the lightest color. And that just gives it some depth and dimension, and I really, really like it. Initially, I wasn't going to color her feet because I wasn't sure if her feet would be showing. But then I do go back later and color her feet and then give her some silver shoes using a silver marker. So I can't remember if I left that in or if I went back and did it. But yeah, so it turned out really, really cute. And I don't know. Here we go. I don't know. I just love that pink combo. And it's a favorite of mine. I've mentioned before that my dining room is kind of pink, green, and navy, and I love it so much. Here is the pin I'm using to give her silver shoes. It wasn't much of a fine tip pin, so I would definitely suggest that when you go forward. For the heart, I used R59, and what I thought was R46, but it was not, so I brought in R46. You didn't really need to add a lot of that to the heart, but I went ahead and did it. So you're going to see me use some of the same colors I used in the other card. This is BG 49, 23, and 11, and that's because these are some of my favorite colors. There are like 3 rooms in my house that are purple and aqua, my craft room included. So it's a favorite color combination together, and I love these bright, fun, vibrant colors together. I just love how they play off each other. This is a beautiful color story, and I really, really like it. So for the shirt, we're going to do V, and it's the V6, V, what did I put? It's V9, V6, and V5. So I didn't bring in anything lighter than V5. And again, just going in where it would be darkest, so under her arm, like where under her shoulder, closest to where the other character is, and then just adding a little bit of dimension, just to give it a little bit of oomph. And then for her shoe, I'm just bringing in, I think I used a toner. I think it was T1, T2, just to do one color on her boots. I didn't feel like I'm trying to do a whole lot of blending. Because again, I initially thought that this was not going to be, their feet wouldn't be showing, I guess. I don't know. So again, I have a pink glitter pen and I have a purple glitter pen, and I use the purple to give her a cute little earring, or her earring some sparkle. So I cut that out, and now we're going to color Kevon. So I'm using the same color combination that I used for Phoebe, and I'm also using the same hair color combination, except I'm not, it's not going to be a blonde. He's going to be more brunette. So Kevin is somewhat brunette. I think there's also some blonde to it. So, but he's going to be kind of in the water, so his hair would automatically look darker. And yeah, so that's why I colored it a little bit deeper. And the skin tone, if like this was going to be like my mermaid card that I did in May, where she was underwater and, an actual mermaid, and her skin was very, very light, and that's because she didn't see the sun. But Kevin is he works as a merman. He's not necessarily a merman all day, every day. So he's going to have a little bit more sun to him, and that's why I went ahead and colored his skin not quite so pale. And again, giving a little flush of cheeks. And as I mentioned before, I color up to the bottom of the pupil because to me, that's a lid, and it also saves me from trying to figure out how to do an oval. That's why, and make it look halfway decent, because I haven't accomplished that yet. So, and again, coloring is subjective, and these characters are really easy to kind of make your own. So for his chest, I brought in the deepest color around the abs and his pecs, and then right where his tail begins. So giving him a little bit of definition in his muscles, and yeah. So for his tail, I'm going to go ahead and use purples again once we get there, but he is not going to be a character that has his entire body. I am going to cut him out and cut off part of the tail. So for the hair, I'm just doing it like I normally do, darkest to lightest, and just leaving a little bit in the middle for it to be a highlight. And again, I don't like the bright white highlight. I like to have, just the lightest color be the highlight. I loved coloring this hair. I love the shape of it. And again, I love all of the characters that we've had lately with the shaved head. There was one, what month was that? March with the rock stars. I can't remember. She had a really cute haircut that was shaved on the side. So really, really fun. Again, love so very much. So cute. And here I am just adding that lighter color to give it a little bit of something, something. So for the tail, I'm going to be using V09. Basically the same colors I used on Annie's shirt. But again, I'm not coloring the entire tail because I'm going to be cutting part of it out to get him adhered to inside the shaker. And I am going to be bringing in that purple, gel pen to give him some scales. And I really love the way this turned out. It's not as shiny to see on camera, but when you see it in person, it's actually really fun. It's a really fun detail. And then I'm going to use it to also give him a little bit of eyeshadow too. And I'm not trying to be, perfect with this. It's just adding some texture to the tail and a little bit of sparkle and shine. And I really love how this little character turned out. And again, I'm going to give him a little bit of eyeshadow. And here it is in like real time, not sped up. Again, it's hard to see, especially under all the lights that I have on my desk. But once you see it in the pictures at the end, it looks real pretty. So initially this was going to be like a pride cruise or something like that. And I had this banner that I'd created, but I decided to go ahead and not use it. And here I'm just trying to decide if I wanted to do a portrait style car, if I wanted to make it landscape. And I decided to go ahead and do a landscape card. Words. What are you? Holy Moses. So I really liked it when it was turned this way, and I felt like it gave the characters room to breathe. So this is the bubble matte die, and I'm just using some turquoise glitter paper that I had in my collection. And then this is a piece of the wave paper from the Beach Day paper pack, I believe is what it's called. So I don't know if I've mentioned this before, maybe I have, but I used to be a classroom teacher. And one thing that happens when you're a classroom teacher and you move into someone else's classroom and you take over, they always leave stuff behind. So I was left a package of transparencies. Now, some of you are like, what is that, Misty? Well, if you're old like me, they used to be on a projector, etc. So it's basically just transparency or acetate. And I have like hundreds of sheets of them, like a lifetime supply for shaker cards. So I glued the front to that. And then I found these foam strips on Amazon that make making shaker cards so much easier. So here are all of my leftover paint or diamonds from my last set of diamond paintings. So I'm pulling out the white, the purple, and the one kind of bluey color that I have because I got a 12 pack of 3x5 floral diamond paintings, and I had so much fun doing it. I hated it at first, but now I love it. Now that I have the right supplies, I have a light box to put it on. I've got a fancy pen to use. Once I did that, then I was okay with. So one thing I forgot to do is to bring in a little bit of powder to go around the sides of the foam that take away a little bit of that stickiness. I brought in a little bit of seed beads, and then I am just going to pull off the backer for the foam. Now, since I wanted to put in Kevin and I wanted him to look like he was inside of this aquarium, I'm going to bring in another piece of acetate and put it on the back. So normally I would sandwich this just on a piece of, whatever pattern paper, etc. But since I have an element that isn't stamped directly onto the background piece, I did acetate, shaker bits, acetate. And you can see here that Kevin is peeking out from behind. So I'm just adding a little bit of adhesive to where he'll attach. And there he goes. He's peeking out and he's having so much fun. He's living its best life. So I was trying to figure out what size I was going to make this card. And I thought 5x7. So this is a 5x7 note card that, I picked up a pack of those off Amazon. I'm going to make a 5x6 card. So I'm going to cut this piece of pattern paper down to 5. I'm going to cut off an inch. So it's 5. And then I'm going to leave it at 6, and then we're going to trim down an inch off our card. So our finished card folded is 5x6 rather than 5x7. So it will fit, number one, it'll fit in a regular 5x7 envelope. but also it gives us a chance to have Annie's hair hanging off of this kind of aquarium scene, and it'll have plenty of room to not get crushed. So one thing I didn't think to do before I adhered them down was add a little bit of foam tape behind her hair, but also behind their feet. And that's what you see me doing here. I've kind of cut some down and I'm just adding it behind, but I should have thought to do that first, and it just completely slipped my mind. So once I get their feet situated and I get her hair situated, I'm going to bring in an odor stamp set called Never Hide Your Pride. This currently isn't in stock, but I know they have plans to bring it back. And I'm using the Diversity Unifies stamp. I just thought that with the 3 different characters that was a really great sentiment for them. And I'm using amethyst ink to stamp it. And once I do that, I'm just going to trim it out with my trimmer, and then we're basically going to be done. I am going to add it with some foam tape, and then I have some cute foam hearts that I brought in and added a couple to it. But that's it. That's the card. I really love how this card turned out. I love that I was able to repurpose the little diamond things because I was like, what am I going to do with all these? Anyway, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me today, friends. I really do appreciate you. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. Leave me a comment letting me know what you think about the last 2 cards, and I will see you next Friday for another video. Bye for now.